Okay, here we go. So let's start out saying this. I basically going to teach you people about God can't stand sin. This is something that's very inferior made. Now, look at this. This is something that I'm a mind framing you on. Do you understand that God will look at you from this mirror of this aspect? You got to think about where you're coming up with, because God at times is going to mind frame you into something that you can't stand on. Do you understand that God will look at you in the mirror and say, you want to be this in your career? You want to be a famous rapper, but I don't want you to be a famous rapper, because if you become a famous rapper, then you're basically living in sin toward me, because that's the dream that I don't want you to be. Now, understand this about me. Me as God, I will look at you from this element point. I would say, well, you need to get yourself together right with me. Think about where you're going up with me with. Think about this. Do you understand that God will look at you from this plan two state to say, you are not living the right of the expectation of me? Now, God will look at you in this element form. He would say, what you did for yourself is you basically acted like as if you want to be a rapper. But at the same time, you don't really want to be a rapper. You just want to be a rapper so you can become a rich, famous celebrity. And at the same time, God will look at that and say, well, why would you sit up there and want to be that though? Because you're not following my plan. You're not following my lead. You're not following my league. So this is something that God looks at. He say, oh, wait a minute. You did something for me and you didn't do it the right way. So let's take it for what it is. Let's say if you take the time to memorize lyrics and the lyrics are not fully memorized in your mind effectively where you don't make a mistake. Do you understand that it's not your calling to be a rapper? Because it takes so much time for you to memorize lyrics. It's other artists out there that don't take time to basically take so long to memorize lyrics. They can just memorize it just like that. So understand this about you. You need to not be a rapper. A rapper is not for you. So understand this. You need to be a YouTuber preacher. That is your calling, Matthew. Now, God is talking to me. He's saying, Matthew, this is what you need to do for yourself. You need to basically come into an element to be a YouTuber preacher for God's kingdom. Get the point. Because when you get to heaven, you will basically be a famous poet to perform on stage. And at times, you're still not going to find the way to basically effectively memorize lyrics fully effectively until I give you a selective memory to basically bold face you up into something where you can think straight for yourself and get it all the way right correctly. Now that's the element of it where you don't make no mistake. Now God is teaching you a lesson, Matthew. Matthew, do you understand that at times you want to go to the strip club and find you some woman with a least a super fat booty? But that woman at that strip club with that super fat booty is not for you. Because do you understand your dick, the way it's slang? It's not for you. It's not for you to be with just a woman with a super fat booty of a fat ass. That is not for you, because you need to understand you desire a woman with the oversized, gigantic booty. That's just what it is, Matthew. So understand this about yourself. Do you understand at times you're not going to look right for yourself? Why would you? Why would you want to go to the strip club and find some woman for you or find some type of wife? Do you understand that your marriage is in heaven? It's not here on earth. Your marriage is in heaven, Matthew. Get the point. See, God is showing me something. So one thing that I have to say with me is, wow, you know what? I feel better today because this is what I did. Yesterday, I did not use the book and take the book under the pillow. But then again, I did. So this is something that I did. I said, after I sit up there and bust a nut and bust a sperm on basically the bed itself, this is what I said to myself. I said, wow, I am living in a trauma state. Now, God, I repent for the sin I've done. Father, I sinned against you. I should have never sinned against you. But Father, you teaching me a lesson about me. Father, you teaching me something that, okay, Matthew, if you were to die right now, you would still make it to heaven because you saved so many souls from going to hell from the YouTube preaching of the ministry that you have done. So understand this, Matthew. Do you understand that at times you're not going to look right in yourself? If you sit up there and think about having a marriage here on this earth, but now you're not really thinking about having a marriage here on this earth. What you're thinking about is becoming a famous rapper to perform on stage. It's pointless at this point, Matthew, because what's the sense of you becoming a famous rapper and you have nobody to share it with? What is the sense of you reaching this type of fame and type of big money of riches and you have nobody to share with? God is showing me something even different. He said, this is what you need to do, Matthew. You need to come into an element and you need to come into a tip. You need to come into a fit frame of yourself. God is saying, get out of this road. Get out of this tragedy of this point of this system. God can't take what you do, Matthew. You know what God can't take? Oh, you still want to become a famous rapper here on this earth? Why do you want to do that? That's not for you. Now, learn this about yourself, Matthew. Do you understand that at times you're going to lose your soul? You're going to lose your mind, all because you don't have the riches on this earth. But Matthew, understand this. Do you know at times you're going to feel like you're at total peace and you're not dealing with the trauma that you're dealing with here on earth and you're not dealing with what you're dealing with? Understand this, Matthew. This is something that you got to understand about yourself. You have to grow something. You have to flip something. You have to shake something. Now, Matthew, this is me, God. I'm talking to you. So, Matthew, understand this. Now, I'm going to look at you from this element point. Do you understand that this is me, God? I'm talking to you. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you something that's very bold and very peculiar, man. Do you understand that it's hard for you to take the time to memorize lyrics? Because it's not your calling to be some type of rapper to perform on stage. Your calling is to be the ministry of the gospel, to spit the real gospel of the ministry. Now, Matthew, this is me, God. I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach you a lesson to over-pronunciate a word with this when I told you. This is something that you got to understand. This is something that you have to understand for me. You are basically just a YouTuber preacher for my kingdom, and that's it. Get the point, and that's enough said. Okay, Father in heaven, I get the point.